Hello, brother Jonko, I'm not getting you.
I am on.
Say it shana, Africa, say it louder. Say it shana. Salam alaikum, assalamu alaikum, salam alaikum, assalamu alaikum, salam alaikum, assalamu alaikum, salam alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
United we stand, divided we fall. All we need is freedom. All we need is love. Free Africans free. Free Africans free.
Be free, free from slavery. Free, be free, free from slavery. Free, free yourself from the slavery. Free, free yourself from the slavery. Free, free yourself from the slavery. Free, be free from slavery. Be free from slavery. Yeah.
We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war. We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war. We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war.
Salam alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Salam alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Salam alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Salam alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, African one. If you wanna be free, the most simplest one in the world. Get yourself developed with the reggae music coming straight to you from the one of the most peaceful man. So many lying down on the streets, whatever them with their guns in the hands. Get yourself the most free time. I preach about freedom. Preach about freedom.
We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war. We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war. We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war.
Better look on the street as a lesson, youth. Stop violence as a lesson. You have to listen and be a man. The music we are doing is not a music for fun. We are preaching, hear it loud and clear. Hey, night and day, no slipping it out. Better preach, let the people hear. Better preach, let the blind feel. The sound of freedom and love. The sound of freedom and love. The sound of freedom and love. The sound. African one love. In the production. Ethiopia. Salam alaikum. Morocco. Salam alaikum. Libya. Salam alaikum. Tunisia. Salam alaikum. Nigeria. Salam alaikum. Niger. Salam alaikum. South Sudan. Salam alaikum. Sudan. Salam alaikum. South Africa. Salam alaikum. African wonder. Salam alaikum. African wonder. Salam alaikum. Let's unite and be free. Salam alaikum. United we stand. Salam divided we fall. Salam alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, good afternoon. Hello and welcome to the show, dear viewers of Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. Wherever you are tuning in from around the world, time is rapidly flying. A lot of events are happening, and we are in a race with the time in relation to achieving our mission on earth. As you know, a man is born at a specific time, specific point of time, grow, live, and achieve his or her dreams within a given time frame, and go to sleep with his or her achievement going down in the corridor of the history as his or her legacy. We have a call, a national to stand up in this period of time in the history of our people and nation to change the narrative and situation. We have a mission, and this is our national mission. This mission is based on the mandate of conscience and the reading of the history. Our time has many challenges and crises which need us to rise up to challenge and change the status quo and bring about the brighter day for justice, liberty, and equality. We shall, and we now hear all ball of the national call ringing. Shall we now rise up against the challenges and beat out of our time? These are the good questions that we are asking you tonight. Shall we now rise up for the total change in all aspects of life in our country? Surely we can. Surely we can do it together. Surely we can defeat and drive away the political monsters of our time. Surely we can collectively change the status quo. This is what we are doing. We are born to achieve our dream and serve our fellow countrymen and women before we go finally to rest. In this episode, my dear brothers and sisters, we are going to examine the current political situation in the country. A lot of developments worth of our comment and analysis have been unfolding in the country in the recent weeks. And we therefore would like to take a closer look in this episode at all issues. We shall look at the recent alleged visit of President to Warab and Northern Bahr al-Ghazal state. We shall also look at deteriorating working relationship between the president and the first vice president and its political ramification on the security and stability of the country. We shall also make a commentary on the 2024 election. Kindly, I want you to share the video on Facebook, Clubhouse. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel on the YouTube, as you know it. It is written there, John Cormayol, that you can get notified whenever we go live and be among the first people to see a video. And before we start our discussion with the leaders of United Citizens for Change today, I want to say happy Easter to all of you, wherever you're tuning around the world tonight, especially to our fellow citizen people of South Sudan. Happy Easter. And I wish this Easter will bring joy in your life, and we will continue to fight and pray for stability in our country. With that, I would like to welcome the leaders of United Citizens for Change today, and I believe I will have some of them on the Facebook live here and some on the clubhouse. And I do see that I already have the chairman of United Citizens for Change, Ustaz Dengdit Ayok. I would like to welcome him to the podium to greet our audience so we can start our discussion. Ustaz Dengdit, please, the podium is yours.
Greetings and salutation to you in the studio, Comrade Jonko Mayor, and at the same time to all our audience, the viewers on Facebook and YouTube, the listeners on the Clubhouse. I greet all of you, my fellow countrymen and women.
To share with you the political issues of our country and see the current issues of the situation in the country and how best we can address such issues. So you are
to the program. Thank you.
Thank you, Ustaz Dengdit Ayok. It seemed like the audio, actually, when I moved down to the audience, the speaker seemed to work very, very well, and actually your sound was loud and clear. I don't know, maybe if we can do that every time when I ask a question, maybe I will move down to the audience, and then when I need to ask a question, come up here as a moderator. It might work, or we can continue like that. It's interesting, but actually it seemed like it working very well. But I think I will do that. It's okay. We can continue to do that. With this, Ustaz Dengdit Ayok, thank you so much, and one more time, happy Easter to all South Sudanese who join us this live, who are here in Clubhouse and YouTube and Facebook. As I said, discussion is so very important today. As I welcome the leader of United Citizens for Change. Ustaz Dengdit Ayok, I may say this. President Salva Kiir has recently visited Kwajok, the capital of Warab state, and also Arroyo area of Awil West County of the northern Bahar al-Ghazal state. I want you, or could you please disclose the response behind alleged visit to these areas? Dengdit.
Thank you very much, Brother Jonko. The questions about the
to Bahar al-Ghazal region happened, I think, 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago. It happened on Friday. Was it Friday or Saturday? I'm not sure, but it was on the 18th of March 2022, 18th and 19th. The president was making a tour in Bahar al-Ghazal region, and the purpose of his visit to Bahar al-Ghazal was purely political, because we saw him going to Kwajok, the capital city of Warab state, as a believer who was going to celebrate 100 years of faith in Warab state. And so he joined the Catholic believers in Kwajok to celebrate the 100 years of faith in that town. Apparently, when you look at this visit, you can understand that the president was in Kwajok to celebrate the 100 years or a century of faith in the town of Kwajok. But that was not actually the matter. The president actually took advantage uh, of meeting the crowd of people that gathered at St. Joseph Parish of Kwajo and used the occasion for his political campaign, because we are all aware that the president is actually campaigning for the elections in the upcoming elections. That was the main purpose or the reason behind the visit of the president to Arab State. Before he went to Arab State, he actually landed down in Western Bahr al Ghazal State. Wow. And he met with a large crowd of civilians in Wow Stadium, and he actually addressed them. While in the city of Wow, the president told the citizens that he would construct the road in the city of Wow because he had seen that the conditions of the road was not favorable, and therefore he promised the citizens in the country in the city that he would construct new road for them. That's what he said. But what I want to tell you is this: the president is actually the president actually went to Bahar Ghazal for political reasons, which is mainly his political campaign to be re-elected into the office or to be elected into the office in the upcoming general elections in 2024 in December. That was the reason. And for him to talk to the citizens in the country, he must depict himself like someone who is there to actually deliver services to them. He was actually depicting himself as someone who actually cares for them and cares about the services delivery for them. But that was not the case. He was actually making those promises to this civilian in the town because he wanted actually to mobilize them so that they can vote for him in the upcoming election. So that is the reason. That is the same thing also he did to the people of Warab when he was in the church. And then from Kwajok, he proceeded to Akon, his own area, and from there he went to northern Bahar Ghazal state. This visit was a well-coordinated visit, Brother Jonkor. It was well planned, and it was planned ahead of time so that those who plan it can project or depict the president as somebody who is for the delivery of services to the people in that or in those areas. So the president went to northern Bahar Ghazal state. Specifically, he went to Awil West County of northern Bahar Ghazal in a small area called Arroyo, where he launched the project of road constructions in that part of the country. And that project was actually made by his cohorts, those who are around him. They asked him to go to northern Bahar al Ghazal. And for him to go there, they must do something that should reflect an image that the president was actually in that part of the country for the services delivery. But he was not there for the services delivery. He was there for a mere political campaign. Because if you look at the speeches he had delivered in those areas, you would come to understand that he was actually there for political reasons and that he was actually campaigning. And it is not a new thing for us, because the campaign for the 2024 elections, after the extension of the transitional period, started in 2022. The whole 2022 had been a year of political campaign for the upcoming election. Not only the whole year 2022, but it started in the middle of 2022 21 that the president is actually campaigning to be elected into the office. So these are the motives behind that visit, and I'm happy with the way you describe it. You say the alleged visit. In fact, it is allegedly a visit to those areas, but for us, we don't look at it as a mere visit. We look at it as a political campaign that the president is spearheading, and all those things were organized by his political supporters. The president was supposed to go to the fourth state of Bahr al Ghazal, that was Lake States, but he didn't go there. He cut the visit short in order to go back to Juba. But for those of you who are following the political development in the country, he had sent the vice president for services, Kalasta, to Rumbek 3 days or two days ago. And the way he was talking, it was very clear that he was campaigning, and because he told the people plainly and clearly that he would like all the political parties to get prepared for the election, starting with the SPLM, going down to the SPLM-IO, and all the rest of the political parties who are actually signatories to the ARCES, or the Revitalized Peace Agreement. So you can see that the motives behind the visit was actually for a political campaign. So the president is on a political campaign in the country. That's why he went to Bahr Ghazal. And Bahr Ghazal is actually, he actually considered Bahr Ghazal as his geographical constituencies, where he went there. But sadly, Brother Yonkur, the town Mr. President visited are towns that are very poor. For example, the town of Kwajok, there is nothing done in Kwajok town except the physical planning which was done earlier during the time of, I'm not sure, was it the time of Anayan Quintit or Anthony Bolmadu? The physical planning which was done in the town is the only thing that is done. There are no schools built in the town. I mean, modern school, modern educational facilities that are capable to live for the next 50 or 70 years, such as those of Rumbek Senior Secondary School. There are no such thing in the country. In the city of Kwajok, people are suffering from curable diseases. The Kwajok hospital is not rehabilitated, and it is not upgraded to the levels of a health facility that is capable of delivering health services to the people in the state. And the president was there, and that is actually his hometown. So he could not deliver anything to the people of that city. Even the church, where people were celebrating a century of faith, the church is just built in an open area. There is no fence around the church. People just sit under the trees and then they pray there. And so you can see the town, the Kwajok town is still underdeveloped. And these are the things that the citizens in those areas should look into. When the president comes to campaign and to solicit their votes early before the election, they should question the president, where are the services that are supposed to be delivered to them? But I want to tell the citizen that the services promised by the president to be delivered will not be delivered. He is just promising you because he knew that election is coming. And because the election is coming, that's why he's talking about the delivery of services. That's why we have seen him going to Arroyo, area of a Will West County, to open a road project, to be seen as someone who is working, as someone who is actually delivering services. But this is just a mere campaign, because most of the politicians do this when the election is drawing near, then they have to go out with the people and they have to chase after the people in order to show themselves to the people that they are capable of delivering services to them. But it is very clear that uh, Mr. President would do anything such as the delivery of services. And therefore, the people of Bahar Ghazal should be prudent enough and they should know that the president is actually lying and he is actually cheating or deceiving them or luring them politically in order to vote for him. And therefore, they should be prudent enough that they should not vote this dictator into the office again because he would do nothing. Had he been a man who was actually for the delivering of services, he would have done this in the last 18 years that he had spent in power. Leave alone delivering services to the other cities in Bahr Ghazal and around the country. He did not actually deliver such services to the people in Juba, where the seat of the government is. If you go around Juba, roads are still lacking in many parts of the city. Recently, when Pope visited Juba, we saw a construction of road. Had the Pope not visited the city of Juba, that road would have not been constructed. It is the same thing that we are saying. If it is not because the elections are drawing near, the president would have not gone to Bahr Ghazal and promised the people in those three states that he would deliver services to them. So this is a mere lie, and people should not take him seriously. This is the message that we would like to send to the people of South Sudan in that part of the country, and also to the people of South Sudan in other part of the country. So this is what I can say about the visit of the president to the three states of Bahr Ghazal. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Saz Dengdi Ayok, for answering this question and elaborating more and on that regard, visit of president to go and campaign in those two states. Now, Saz Dengdi Ayok, there are concerns about the sweltering working political relationship between the president and the first vice president over the implementation of the revitalized agreement on the resolution of the conflict in the Republic of South Sudan. We have seen many things happen. The defense minister was fired, swapping with interior in the country. Could you please give our audience the details on this and its political ramification on the security and stability of our country? Also, will the roadmap that was extended, transitional period, end peacefully in a light of the growing political row between the two rivals in the country? Ustaz Dengit?
Thank you, Brother Jonkur.
About the relationship between the president and the first vice president. I would like to tell you honestly that the working political relationship between the president and the first vice president is not healthy. And it is not healthy for obvious reasons that are obvious to all of us. Because, you know, the two men are rivals, as you said it. They are rivals. One is already a president and the other one would like to become the president. And they don't tolerate each other. They are intolerant towards one another, whether it is the president or the first vice president. And lately we have seen the working relationship growing negatively between the two political leaders. First, the president issued a decree on the 3rd of March,
Mm.
firing the Minister of Defense and swapping the two ministries. And this one create a political tension in Juba. And there was a meeting that was scheduled between the president and the first vice president. And when they were in the meeting, the whole city of Juba was afraid of what would be the end of that meeting, because they were reminded, the situation actually reminded them of that similar situation of July 2016, because when the war broke out in J1, they were in a meeting, and so war broke out while they were in the meeting, and it was a very bad thing to the citizens in the country, and many people died, especially the soldiers that were inside and around J1. So the working relationship between the president and the first vice president is not in good terms, because the president violated the revitalized peace agreement, and the president and the first vice president had to they have to sit down in a meeting in order to reach a way out of this. But the meeting ended in a deadlock, as it was described. And so the working relationships is not good, because what actually brings the two gentlemen together is the agreement that they have signed. Had they not signed the agreement, they would have not been together. And so the first vice president is insisting that the Minister of Defense should be for them according to what the agreement said. And we have actually evaluated the implementation of the agreement here 2 weeks ago. And it was very clear that the agreement is not implemented. Only 30% of the agreement is implemented, but the rest of the 70% is not implemented. And so the relationships, or the working political relationship between the president and first vice president, is not good. And that is the fear of so many citizens in the country, because this is how it started. They got into a political row, and then they pulled the rug forth and back, and in the end, it ends up in tears, as they say. It ends up with people fighting. It ends up with the sons and daughters of this country dying as a result of the political dispute between the president and the first vice president. So that is it. And so, as we speak here, the working relationship between the two is not good. Another thing we want to add to this is that okay, you can come up, brother Jonkur.
Just continue, Ustaz Dengit. I want you to continue. I know you won't be able to hear me because it looked like there is a trick, on the clubhouse that we don't understand.
I have already invited you. You should come up, brother Jonkur. And I don't know what happened. I don't see you up here. You should come up. And next time, please, if you come up, try to stay up here. Don't go down again.
Yeah, it seemed like I can't go up, but Dengit, I want you to continue talking. I don't know if you are getting my message, but go ahead, continue. I can't go up at this point, but I would send you the question, and then we'll figure out these technical issues, and I will send you the question that I'm asking you.
Brother Jonkor, I think there is a problem. You can come up, and I'm not getting what you are saying there in the video. So it's a complicated situation. I would suggest that you actually stay up here, don't go down again, in case if you come up. Now we are like stuck.
Let Abdullah Garang invite me.
Jonkor, if you hear me, you can exit the room and come back so that I can invite you to come up. You can exit the room, please, if you are getting me.
Yes. This is not good. I think I made something wrong.
Brother Jonkor, you can exit the room and come back. Brother Jonkor, I'm not getting you. There is this is a problem really, because we cannot be waiting. I'm not getting you and you are not getting me. I don't know whether you are getting me or not.
I am getting you, Saz Dengdit, but I want Abdullah to invite me actually. If Abdullah can hear, Abdullah invite me.
He's hearing you, Saz Dengdit, but I don't know why his voice is not coming here.
Can you raise up your hand, Ustaz Abdullah? Raise up your hand and come up here.
I am sure myself I am over there.
Are you in the video? Are you live on Facebook or with us here on Clubhouse?
No, I am with you on the Clubhouse.
Because I don't see you in the room.
Yeah, I see myself on the top.
In the room.
Yeah,
and I
see
cannot
myself
refresh my screen unless you come up first, because I'm the only moderator in the room. If I get out, the room would shut down.
Make Abdullah a moderator so Abdullah can invite me.
I think there's a problem on the Clubhouse, because when I just come to the Clubhouse, it takes me.
I have a screen problem. I have a screen problem on my phone. I don't see you. You are in the room, but I don't see.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah.
I don't know. I am with you now on, but you don't see me. But I am with you. I don't know how to figure it out. Okay, let me exit and come back. Just one second. Do you now able to see me? Okay.
Yes, I can see you now and I can hear you clearly. Now you are a moderator.
Okay, let me invite Junko.
Yes,
He should not go down again if he comes up.
Abdullah, this is what I've been saying. I said
this has caused a great
disruption in the. I apologize, Jama. I apologize to our audience. This is what happening. I didn't know that actually when you go down twice, and then the moderator will not have an ability to invite you. And that's what happened actually. I can hear you, but you cannot hear me because there is no way I can go up there. So what needed to happen, Abdullah is the one that's supposed to invite me, not you. But Abdullah was not a moderator. But I keep, sending messages toward him, but he's not able to get it. The reason I want to go down, because actually when I go down, your voice is more louder with the speakers, But now it will go back to the normal, the one that we had before. But anyway, let's continue. My apology on that. We will fix this issue, inshallah. Okay. Let's continue. Ustad Dengit, you were just still talking. The question that I've asked you on, the president, the concern that about the sweltering relationship between first vice president and the president. Continue, please.
Yeah, I think I summarized the point.
Okay.
And I said the working political relationship between the president and the first vice president is not healthy. And they have differences over the implementations of the peace agreement, the revitalized peace agreement. They have differences over this. And I gave an example of the decision which was made on the 3rd of March, 2023, the firing of the Minister of Defense and the swapping of the two ministries. And the subsequent meeting between the president and the first vice president over this, but the meeting ended in a deadlock. They couldn't agree over this matter. The next step is that the first vice president actually wrote a letter to the IGAD member state. And as you are all aware, the head of IGAD state right now is Sudan. So Abdel Fattah al-Burhan of the Sudan, the chairman of the Sovereignty Council in the Republic of Sudan, is the chairman of the IGAD right now. So the first vice president wrote a letter in which he entailed the violations of the revitalized peace agreement to the IGAD member state and called on the chairperson of the IGAD to intervene to exercise pressure on the government so that the government can implement the peace agreement as it is, and possibly to get out of the role of the firing of the Minister of Defense and the swapping of the two ministries. And so the chairpersons of the IGAD bloc actually wrote to the president and suggested that there should be a meeting, and it was decided that this meeting should not be in Juba, that this meeting should be in one of the neighboring countries, which means that Dr. Machar, in his capacity as the first vice president of the country, would go to one of the neighboring countries for the first time since he stepped his feet in Juba in 2019. And the president, of course, does not want Dr. Machar to go to any of the neighboring countries because he is already in the prison, and he doubts that if he gets out, he would actually come back to the country. And over this, President Salva Kiir sent his security advisor, Mr. Tut Galwak, to Sudan recently with a letter to Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, and the letter was actually to tell Mr. Burhan that if there is any IGAD meeting, it should be held inside Juba. It should not be in any of the neighboring countries, so that he can actually close the way in front of Machar so that he cannot get out into any neighboring countries, because he might not come back. According to him, he actually doubts him. And so that is why the working relationship between the two gentlemen is not healthy. They are in a row over the implementation of the peace agreement, and the president is afraid that if his first vice president gets out of the country, he might not come back, and that one would mean the continuation of the war in the country. In two cases, it means the continuations of the war in the country, whether he gets out and might not come back, according to what the government sees or the president sees, or if he remains in the country, the same scenario could happen. Because you asked me what are the ramifications of this sweltering relationship between the president and the first vice president. If the agreement is not implemented, this can jeopardize the country. It can drag the country back to war, which is unwanted by the people of South Sudan, because we want peace and we want stability in the country. And if there is any war in the country, it is the people of the country that would suffer. It is the common men and women that would pay the price of war. And the signatories to the agreement would not be hurt by any war in the country. So that is the development, and this is how it can be interpreted based on our follow-up and based on the current developments in the country.
Thank you very much, Ustaz Dengdid Ayog. I hope this audience thing will get fixed. Thank you for summarizing, that question. Also, Ustaz Dengdid, during his alleged visit to Warab State, the president held a meeting with governor of Warab State, General Munem Bol Melek, and chief administrator of Abyei Special Administrative Area, Dr. Chol Deng Alak, over the feud between Twitch and Ngok communities. What are the results of that meeting in connection with the recent concluded 4 days peace conference for the two communities held in Wau during Monday, April 4th, 2023, throughout Thursday, April 6th, 2023, and why feud between Ngok and Twitch seem to be taking so long? I want you to, to give us your take on that. Dengit.
Yes, that is right. After his recent visit to Warab State, to Kwajok, the president proceeded to his own. He proceeded to his own hometown or village of Akon in Warab State, and while he was in his house there, he actually held a meeting, as you said, with the governor of Warab State and the administrator of Abyei area. During that meeting, he actually instructed the two governors of the two states that they should bring their people together in order to find a way out of the ongoing conflict between the two communities of Twitch and Ngok. And so the two gentlemen, the chief administrator of Abyei and the governor of Warab State, were able to arrange a peace conference in Wau, as you said. It started on Monday, the 4th, and ended on Thursday, Thursday the 6th. It was a 4-day peace conference. In the conference, there were 4 issues that were discussed, and they were expected to sign an agreement on these 4 issues. Issue number 1 was the cessation of hostilities between the two sisterly communities, because fighting had resumed several times after the two communities signed the agreement on cessation of hostilities on the 4th of April 2022. And so, number 1 is cessation of hostilities. Number 2 was opening of roads and ensuring a free movement of people and goods and services. Because, the conflict between Ngok and Twitch had resulted into the blockage of roads between Ngok, the highway that is coming from Abyei into Twitch, from Twitch to Awan, from Awan to Gorial, and then finally to Kwajok, throughout to Wau. That road is blocked by the conflict. So that was point number 2. Point number 3 was about the withdrawal of armed youth from neighboring countries who had allied themselves with the warring parties. You are all aware that the feud between Ngok and Twitch had actually involved the youth from the neighboring countries. And so the youth from neighboring countries have joined both sides of Ngok and Twitch, and they are fighting alongside the two warring parties. You might have read, Brother Jonko, or anyone in the room might have read in the news that some youth from the neighboring unity state were involved into the fight between North and Tweed. So that was point number three, that there must be a withdrawal of armed youth from neighboring countries who had allied themselves with the warring parties of Tweed and North. Point number four, and the last one, was about the creation of a buffer zone between the two communities. And a buffer zone is a zone that separates between the two communities, and no one should cross it, so that there is no fighting between members of the two communities. And so point number four was about the creation of a buffer zone, and they were supposed to sign an agreement on these 4 points of the negotiation. But according to our updates, the side of the Tweed, the leaders of the Tweed community actually gave a condition that they want the Mok people who are in the town of Anet to evacuate Anet and go back and relocate back north of the River Kir. And because of this, they had their differences and they could not sign any agreement. And so the peace conference, which was held in Wau 6 days ago, could not achieve any tangible result. It ended up without any agreement reached between the two communities. As for the other part, or the other question, in which you said why the feud between Tweed and Mok seemed to be taking
so long.
It is taking long because the government in the Republic of South Sudan is not decisive on bringing an end to this one. And that's why the conflict is taking very long. It should not be allowed to take long. Sometimes, as a government, you can impose some measures in order to maintain peace in the area. Now, the two communities are rejecting what is supposed to bring peace to them, but that is not that is not good. And so you can see that the government efforts to bring the two communities together cannot succeed very soon. The other thing also, this peace conference should have been a peace conference by the members of the communities only, without the involvement of the
Politician.
Because we believe that the government also has a hand in the ongoing conflict between the two communities. And when you have a hand as a government in that one, you cannot be a peacemaker between both communities. And that's why the talks between the two communities failed last Thursday. But we would like to urge the two warring parties to continue to have a dialogue and reach peace, because the continuation of war is not a solution. It's not a solution. That's what I can say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ustaz Dengir Ayok, for elaborating on the questions. Now we continue. There is, let me go and move ahead here. Ustaz Dengir, there is a trending information graphic data on the social media showing various members alleged to the estimated figures of our population in the 10 states and the 3 administrative areas. What is your take on this? What is the source of trending infographic data? Are the figures showing really true or authentic? And what does this tell us about the current affairs in the country? It's quite interesting. I just saw it last night. Something.
The trending infographic data, which is showing different numbers that are believed to be the estimated number of our people in the
country,
in the 10 states and the 3 administrative areas, or rather in the country. The source of this one is what is called the National Bureau of Statistics. This is the source of this one, according to what I read in the news. And the chairperson of that National Bureau of Statistics is called Chola Roy. So they are the one responsible for the ongoing or for the trending infographic data, which is showing the population of the country, in which Warab State actually emerged to be the state which has the highest populations in the country. Now, after having known the source of this information or this data, we have a number of questions to be asked. The authenticity of this data, because that is your question. Is it authentic? When you say, is it authentic? That is a very interesting question. It is not authentic. Why? Because it is an estimation. It is not an accurate word.
Correct.
It was not carried out on the ground until the National Bureau of Statistics reached those figures that we have seen. And so it is not authentic simply because of this reason. And so, with Warab State emerging as the state that has the largest number of people in South Sudan,
which is
accurate.
Which is really.
And I was wondering, why should it be Warab only? What about Northern Baragazal State? What about Jonglei State? What about even Western Equatorial State, or even Central Equatorial State, where the majority of the population is? And so I came to the conclusion that this one might have been done for political reasons by the National Bureau of Standards. They made the state from which the president is coming to be number one in the country in order to appease the president, so that the president can continue to actually reward them. This could be one of the reasons why this thing was done. And so you can see it is not authentic. You know what I read in the news is hilarious, Brother Jonko.
Yeah.
These gentlemen of the chairperson of the National Bureau of Standards of Statistics was asked, how was this estimation done? He said it was done by satellite. They used satellite imagery in order to determine the number of people in each state. And so many people are wondering, how can a satellite be used, or how can satellite imagery can be used in order to determine the number of people in a given state within the Republic of South Sudan. And so we ended up saying that this one is illogical and it is not justifiable, and therefore the conclusion is that the figures we see in that infographic data trending on social media is not authentic, it is not accurate, and it is politically motivated. Politically speaking, it is also meant for finding a legal ground for the conduction of the election in the Republic of South Sudan, because the government is actually in a limbo. Brother Jonko, the government is in a limbo. The government is in a dilemma, because prior to the conduct of the election, the government is supposed to conduct the population census in order to know the number of people in each state. But given the current situation in the country, the government cannot do this, and so they resorted to estimating the numbers of people in each state. And they would use that unauthentic data for the conduct of election in the upcoming election. And from now, we can begin to see that the election is not going to be authentic, since the population or the estimation of the people in each state is not authentic. So the people of South Sudan can begin to see now that we are not going to have free and fair election, by the way. So this is what I can say about this one.
Yeah, something this is so laughable when I saw it. Yeah, putting Warab State with 2,639,484. It's really interesting. And also coming here and putting Northern Barkazal State with 1,924,342. And while what do you call Central Equatoria, Juba, that has a lot of people from all over the country, has people from Warab, from Northern Barkazal, from Upper Nile, from Jungule. It came to like 1,324,521. You are right. This is so laughable. How the census can be conducted by what do you call satellite? Even the United States, the most advanced country, they are still coming knocking the doors. they're still coming knocking the doors and count the people, and you have to fill out the form of your household. How many people living in this house, and then based on that, then they can count it. And I also hear from the National Commission for Election is saying that he's going to use the 2008 census. I don't know. I'm so speechless. But let me go ahead. I have more question here to ask you, Dengdit. Before we give a chance to other people also to weigh in, because today we are going to give more opportunity actually to people, to add their perspective. So with that, let's talk about December 24, which is we are still in it. December 24 elections. Does the trending infographic have relations? And you already answered this question with the upcoming general election, of course, because you already had that. And I will go also with what I was telling you, that the chairperson of the National Election Commission, Professor Abdenigo, Akok Kachwal, made actually a strange statement in which he said that 2008, which is Sudan 5th population census, could be used for the December 2024 election. Is this logical and relevant? Why? The population change every year, every month, every day too. Every 10 years you have millions of people, are born. Can you walk us through what he meant here? Go ahead.
The government nowadays is running up and down, searching for legitimacy in order to conduct elections in December. Yeah.
Sorry for مقاطعة بس الناس قاعدين يتكلموا أنا بديكم بعد شوية. Thank you.
And actually, yeah, thank you. Ustad Abdullah, actually, he was one of the people that actually on that census of 2008. I think he's going to help us more how 2008 was conducted, 2008 census was conducted, and the loophole behind that. But meanwhile, Ustad Dengdit, go ahead and continue.
Yes, I was saying that the statement made by Professor Akok of the National Election Commission, that the 2008 Sudan 5th housing population census could be used as a basis for the upcoming election in December 2024. The statement is illogical, in my opinion, for many reasons. For political reason and tactically, the SPLM or the government of southern Sudan, when Sudan was still one country, when the population, the fifth population housing census was conducted in Sudan, the population of South Sudan emerges to be 8 million something. And the result was rejected by the SPLM and the government of Southern Sudan because they doubted the authenticity of that result. And they were saying that the NCP, the National Congress Party, actually reduced the number of the people of South Sudan for political reasons so that they don't have many members in the National Assembly in Khartoum. So that the National Congress can minimize the presence of South Sudanese in the government at that time. So it was rejected by the government of Southern Sudan. President Kiir himself and the SPLM party rejected the results of 2008 census. Now, you see that the government is confused. And let me tell you how is the government is confused. Because the government is up and down, the government is running forth and back. Now, because the elections are coming, they are campaigning, telling the citizen that we will do you this, we will you do that in exchange for their votes in the upcoming election. That's number one. Number two, they came out with the estimation of the populations, which is also illogical. And at the same time, they are claiming that the 2008 fifth population of Sudan can be used as a basis for the election. So this one shows you that the government is in a dilemma, and they are trying by all means to find a legitimacy for what they can do in the next year, which is 2024. And so this one cannot be authentic, and it cannot be real. The people of South Sudan should not support that one. And this one also tell us that the election will not be free nor fair, neither credible or transparent.
Yes.
From now, we can begin to read the future from now. And this is not the first time for us to talk about this matter. In October 2021, we talked about this, Jonkor.
Yes.
And we said that for the government to conduct election, there are prerequisites that needs to be in place. And one of the prerequisites is security, that the government must ensure that there's security all over the country. Number two, they have to ensure that the internally displaced people that are in the UN camps must leave those camps and go back to their houses. Number three, that the refugees in the neighboring countries are brought back. Number four, that the population census is conducted, because the population census is used in the election to determine what we call geographical constituencies, and it is also used for the budget, for the allocations of the budget, based on the population of the people in a given state or in a given administrative area within the Republic of South Sudan. Now that the government has not ensured that there is security, that's why they came out with the estimations of the population, and that's why they are making statements saying that the 2008 Sudan fifth population census could be used as a basis for the upcoming election. And the whole matter is a confusion. The people of South Sudan can begin to see this right from now. And so what they are saying concerning the election is not authentic, and it cannot be accepted. But we want to tell the people of South Sudan that we are not actually rejecting in principle the conduct of elections, because elections are a democratic means by which a government can be changed and a new government can be ushered in. But without that the election can be actually
fair.
Free, fair, transparent, and credible under the current government. Because all these things that are happening now tell us what will be the outcome of the elections tomorrow. But in principle, we support the election. For us to have election in the country is a good thing. But from now, it can tell us what will happen in the election. Unless there are other scenarios that would happen in order to make the upcoming election a success in a way that would be free, fair, transparent, and credible at the same time. Thank you.
Thank you, Sas Dengdi Dayok. I have my last question to you, but I don't know if Ustaz Abdullah want to jump in before the last question, but let me ask you a last question and then maybe we can give him an opportunity. Ustaz Abdullah, do you want to jump in before I ask Dengdi the last question?
Yeah, you can give Dengdi so I can make my comment.
Actually, Abdullah should be speaking with me side by
The
side.
question that you asked, I'm gonna make comment on the speaking that, I mean the question that you asked, Dengdi.
Okay. Ustaz Dengdi, let's go ahead and talk about the security. What is your comment on the security situation around the country?
Interesting. You know, the security situation in South Sudan is still relative because as we speak, there are still road ambushes in states like Jonglei, in the 3 states of Equatoria, and areas like Unity State. If you read the reports, you will find that there are bandits on the roads and there are ambushes, and you can find the number of people that are reported to have been killed in the last 2 weeks or in the last week. So the security situation is still relative all over the country. And you still have the 2 communities that we talked about earlier. They are still having confrontation from time to time. So you can see that the security situation is not okay in the country. But I think we have to talk about the way forward from the current political situation. We believe in the United Citizens for Change that the way forward from the current political situation is a total change through popular uprising. That's what we believe. Elections is also a solution, but we don't have faith in the government unless there are other political means to be used in order to make the election successful. Otherwise, the current government would use it for ensuring another life for it in power, and that would not be good for the people of South Sudan. And so the way forward is that we have to revolve and change the status quo in our country, change the status quo in the country for the benefit of the people who have been downtrodden for a very long time, and for the benefits of the future generation, because our country has been put into a lot of problems by the current government in Juba. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Ustaz Dengdi Dayok. With that, and then entagle Ustaz Abdullah, and I can, elaborate the question or ask the question that actually I have asked you before, which is has something to do with election. Ustaz Abdullah Garang, انت كرجل اشتغلت في في اعداد السكاني، كرجل اشتغلت في عمليه الاعداد السكاني في 2008. هي الحكومه بتقول دايره تعمل election في 2024 without انه تم اجراءات الاعداد السكاني للبلد. اللي هو كميشنر بتاع الالكشن بيقول زي ما انا قرات السؤال قبل الاستاذ دنجد بيقول يا اخي let's use the 2008 population registration او انا السنسس اللي هو الاعداد السكاني بتاع 2008. انا ده تعليقك عن الكلام ده and also تعليقك عن estimations. يعني احنا شفناه قبل شوي، والاستيميشن ده انا بيعملوا شير في السكرين عشان الناس تقدر تشوفه، اللي هو فيو اعداد السكاني من ابا نايل all the way ل لابيع ادمنستريتيف and Ruweng administrative area. استاذ عبد الله نديك الفرصه.
شكرا استاذ جونكو. شكرا استاذ دنجي. في الحقيقه يعني في موضوع بتاعت الاستيميت بتاعت سنسس دنجي قال فيه كلام مهم جدا. انه الحكومه هي عمل ريجكت للنتيجه بتاعت التعداد السكاني في 2008، فهي كيف الان تبني بها على اساس انها تعمل بها الانتخابات. ده يعني ملاحظه مهمه جدا. وانا بضيف لذلك انا كنت جزء من التعداد السكاني ولايات الاستوائيه. كنت مسلم في 2008 مشينا من الخرطوم حوالي 23 نفر كمراقبين، ومعنا واحد مراقب من ساوث افريقيا كمراقب اجنبي. فوجدنا انه في زمن ذاك طبعا كان في شد وجذب بين الحركه الشعبيه، والحركه الشعبيه عملت يعني تعبئه موبلايزيشن للسيتيزنز على اساس انه ما يسجلوا في التعداد السكاني، لانهم كانوا رافضين اجراء التعداد السكاني في جنوب السودان. لكن في النهايه الحركه الشعبيه وافقت قبل التعداد السكاني ب4 يوم، وافقت على اساس انه يجرى تعداد سكاني في الجنوب، لكن ما رجعت عمل موبلايزيشن للمواطن على اساس انه الناس تسجل. بقدر انت ما عملت اعلام على اساس يكون في مقاطعه للتعداد السكاني، المفروض يكون في اعلام على اساس انه الناس تقبل بالتعداد السكاني. عشان كده كان الرغابه ضعيفه جدا في جنوب السودان. ما كان في متابعه من حكومه جنوب السودان للتعداد السكاني في جنوب السودان. الحقيقه ما كان في متابعه، كان في نقص في الناس الشغالين في كثير من الاحياء، وحتى الناس الشغالين ما كانوا جادين. يعني فقط اللجنه بتاعت الامم المتحده لاجماع سكاني كانت متحركه، لكن هم كمشرفين فقط. لكن من الجانب بتاع حكومه جنوب السودان ما كانوا نشيطين. يعني الموضوع ده زي was just take it very easy. It's not something very important. ده حاجه بتاع ناس شماليين ودايرين يعملوا في الجنوبين. فحقيقه حتى الرقم بتاع 2008 it was not clear. This was not correct number in South Sudan. That people of South Sudan was 8 million. أنا كنت شاهد على الكلام ده، وما ممكن 2008 سنسس إنه الآن يقبلوه يكون البيس الأساس للانتخابات القادمة. بيمنع شنو الحكومة مثلا يعمل تعداد حقيقي في جنوب السودان. ما في حاجة بيمنع إنه الحكومة يعمل الكلام ده. ده بيرجع إنه على أساس إنه الحكومة جنوب السودان they are not serious in everything. Only كل حتى الانتخابات اللي تم في جنوب السودان يعني they were not serious except الاستفتاء ده الحاجة الوحيد حكومة راغبوا واشتغل له يعني شغل كويس جدا. لكن باقي الحاجات اللي تمت يعني ما في وفاق، ما كان في اتفاق بين الحكومة في السودان والحركة الشعبية.
2008 استاذ عبد الله يعني ما كان اوثنتيك، والسبب شنو هي؟ ما كان يعني اعداد ما كان صحيح لذات اسباب.
حكومة جنوب السودان كان الناس ما يسجل. حكومة جنوب السودان كان مقاطع التعداد لحد 4 يوم قبل التعداد. بعد ذاك هم وافقوا، والمواطن عارف انه الحكومه مقاطعه لتعداد السكان على مستوى الحزب. كل الولايات هم عارفين الكلام ده. لكن في النهايه البشير قال يا اخي لو ما في تعداد سكاني ما في انتخابات ما في استفتاء. بعدك الحكومه وافقت انه يكون في التعداد، لكن ما رجع عمل موبلايزيشن للمواطن. ما رجع للمواطن على اساس انه شنو؟ انه الناس تسجل. ما حصل. لانه لو جينا في الانتخابات، زمن تسجيل الانتخابات لقينا عدد كبير جدا يعني من الارقام اللي كان تم تسجيله في الانتخابات، السجل الانتخابي. طبعا انت عشان المواطن يصوت انت لازم تعمل تسجيل للناخبين، فالارقام كبيره جدا يعني مقارنه بالارقام بتاعت تعداد السكان في التسجيل بتاعت الانتخابات. يعني تسجيل الانتخابات عدد كبير جدا، يعني الفتره كانت قصيره، ما ممكن في خلال سنه انه يعني المواطن ينمو مثلا بنسبه 20% يزيد ب 20% او 25%. فالتعداد السكاني بتاع 2008 ما كانت برضه يعني exactly النمبر حقيقي. انا الاستيميت اللي تمت دي انت كده ذكرتها يس في الانتخابات بتاع 2008 ايفن كان جوبا زمان ذاك برضه ما اعلى ولايه في التعداد السكاني تقريبا. ايفن جونجلي وواويل كانوا اعلى من سكان بتاع جوبا في التعداد بتاع 2008. لكن الاستيميت اللي اتعملت دي انا ما اعرف من بنوه على اساس.
جونجولي الان، جونجولي وانا هسه قدامي في الشاشه اللي هو الاستيميت اللي هم خطوه جونجولي الان 791,105 you know ده يعني 791,108 ده جونجولي حاليا. بالنسبه لواراب اللي هو ولايه ينحدر منه الرئيس في 2,665,000 يعني 2,639,484 ألف. يا اتفضل.
ولايه بتاعت وارب في التعداد السكاني بتاع 2008 يعني نسبة عالية، ولكن الاستيميت يعني بقى الدبل او بقى الدبل. يعني لو قلنا حاجة ده مثلا بالهجرات
كان كم هي كان كم معلش قد يكون تمام مذكر 2008
كان 700 تقريبا 700.
واو يعني وهرب كان تقريبا 700,000 والان يعني بمعنى يعني more than 75% لانه هذا 2,639,400 تضاعفت يعني بنسبه اكثر من 70%. كيف الكلام ده؟
الرقم شو برضه دايرين الناس العمل التغيير. The people who done this estimate, they have to come to the people and
explain,
and explain how that happened. Because I hear you said they done that estimate through satellites. How my first time to hear this. You can check the number of telephone numbers that are work or mobile numbers of the people that they have in their hand. There's only the way you can estimate the number of the people.
لكن نوعيات برضو كده عبد الله قرن انت ما هتصل لنتيجه، لانه في ناس ما عندهم تلفونات. عندنا عيال صغار وعندنا عجايز وعندنا ناس ما عندهم والبلد تعبانه. ناس يعني الناس عندها تلفونات في جنوب السودان ما بيجيب نص السكان. في ناس ما عندها تلفونات، فيكون الكلام ده كيف؟
الحكومه محتاجه انها هي تعمل explain للنمبر ده how that happened.
يعني
انت ممكن تعمل estimate، لكن estimate مثلا بنسبه 70% 50% للفتره دي.
انا the reason I'm laughing انا في دراستي اوكي ده مجال التخصص بتاعنا urban development، اوكي التنميه العمرانيه والسكانيه وحاجات دي كلها. that's why I'm laughing because this doesn't add up كله. It does not add up.
Yeah, because people of Warab they did not immigrate. The people of northern Barkazal, so we can say those people they came back home. They did not immigrate in big numbers. like people of Bargadal and some state like Upper Nile. So how this number increased? So just they needed to explain more and more. Yes, we can do estimate, but the number that they have now in some states are very high, some states are okay. So زي ما قلت في شكوك يعني ده بداية الشكوك في الانتخابات ونحن ما دايرين نبدأ كده لأن that's why we get independent from Sudan because we to have freedoms and elections are one of the freedoms. يعني انت لو تمشي انتخابات ده واحد من الحريات بتاعت المواطن. So we cannot start with cheating or something that cannot be. ده بداية بتاعت التزوير قد ما يكون مقبول أو ده إشارة زي ما قال دينجيت إنه الانتخابات الجاية ما تكون fair. فنحن المفروض الناس يعملوا سنسس يعملوا more يعني مؤتمرات صحفية ويشرحوا للناس عشان ما يكون في شكوك. إذا زاد نمبرز إذا ورثوا نمبرز بهذه الكمية أو في سكان بهذه الكمية ما في مشكلة، لكن أنتوا لازم تثبتوا للناس. لأنه إذا كان قلنا يا أخي الناس هاجرت مثلا لولاية العرب فليه يعني؟ هل هنالك خدمات أفضل من باقي الولايات؟ يعني حتى مطار ساكن في العرب ما عندهم ايربورت، ما عندهم مستشفيات كبيرة كويسة، يعني خدمات مدارس نموذجية، تعليم، جامعات مثلا. Yes, students they move from all the states to Arab because they have better educations, colleges. حاجات دي ما موجودة. فنحن نحن نقول ده أرقام أولية لكن قد ما يكون أرقام نهائية للعملية الانتخابية. يعني حتى بريزيدنت ذاته ما ممكن يقبل الكلام ده. ده شكوك لتزوير الانتخابات الجاية. السؤال الأول أنت سألته عندي موضوع بتاعت زيارة الرئيس لولاية بحر غزال.
نعم.
الرئيس الآن شغال كومبين للانتخابات. الرئيس شغال كومبين للانتخابات وهو خصم ثاني أو الحزب نمرة 2 لو قلنا في جنوب السودان أو ثاني أو الحزب المشارك في أكبر حزب مثلا عنده نسب في الاتفاق السلام.
نعم.
رئيسه يعني محبوس. سو الرئيس أنت بتمشي ولايات بتعمل campaign. President is going to Bargazal everywhere to do his campaign for election. So what about Vice President Riek Machar? Riek Machar is not even allowed to go to Lologo or to go to Gumba Sherka. You know, that is not fair election. So if he really working for really election in South Sudan, رياض مشار لازم يعني يطلب هامش من الحرية. خليه يمشي على اليمين، خليه يمشي وين زي ما انت شغال كومبين وذاته يشتغل كومبين. فانا بقول شنو طبعا الحاجات دي كلها ده الاسباب جنوب السودان ينفصل من الشمال.
نعم.
اذا كان نحن بنعمل اسوء من الحاجات اللي كانت موجوده في الشمال اذا we will never go nowhere. نحن كده ما ماشيين قدام يا جماعه. نحن ما انفصلنا عشان نحن بنكره الناس البيوت ولا الناس الشعر ناعم. ده ما هو مشكله بتاعنا. مشكلتنا هنا انفصلنا لانه نحن شاعرين ان نحن ما ناس نقول ما جزء من الدوله في ثقافيا ما بنشوف نفسنا، ما بنمارس حرياتنا. مساواه. طيب الان لازم يكون في مساواه في جنوب السودان على مستوى الانتخابات، على مستوى الاحزاب السياسيه يكون في free and fair election. So زياره بتاعت الرئيس للبحر غزال او التعبئه للانتخابات من اتجاه واحد ما بكون مقبول يعني ده هذا لا يعني هنالك انتخابات. اذا كان الرئيس بيعمل انتخابات وحزب الحركه الشعبيه بيعمل انتخابات براه، ده ما بيكون مقبول في المستقبل. الانتخابات ممكن يتم رفضها، او الاي او ما يقول يا اخي انا مقاطع الانتخابات. اذا الاي او قاطع الانتخابات بيكون صعب جدا يكون في انتخابات في جنوب السودان. فانا بقول لازم يكون يعني في free and fair elections equality، انه رياض مشار يدوه فرصه هو ذاته يطلع من جوبا يمشي ولايات، يمشي يعمل كومبين زيه زي بقيه رؤساء الاحزاب. زي حسين الان يمشي ولايات، هو نائب رئيس، هو عنده حزب حقه. يس هو بمشي كنائب رئيس، لكن برسل رسائل حقه الحزب بتاعه يبني حزبه في انتخابات الجايه. فعشان كده الحاجات دي كلها ظهرت. زي السؤال قبل انت سالت ابو دندي في موضوع العلاقه بين الرئيس ونائب الرئيس. يعني في الحقيقه هنالك التوتر، والتوتر ده ما بدي يعني امن طمانينه في جنوب السودان. قبل دندي ذكر انه حتى الان الرئيس متمسك بقراره بتاعت وزير الدفاع،
نعم،
ما يرجع انجلينا تاني، لكن اعاد رجع السبيكر بتاع جونجولي.
يس
رجع السبيكر بتاع جونجولي، لكن ما رجع
انجلينا تاني.
فانا كنت بتكلم زول واحد من اعضاء المكتب السياسي بتاع الحركه الشعبيه ايو،
نعم،
قال مشوا للرئيس، والرئيس كان نادى رياض.
last week.
It was on last week on Monday or Tuesday. I think Tuesday. الرئيس كان
Wednesday actually. Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday. Even جابوا في الاخبار او في الصفحه الرئيسيه في الفيسبوك بتاعت الحكومه في جنوب السودان. فالرئيس متمسك برايه وما داير يدي يعني وزاره الدفاع تاني لناس الاي او، وقال لرياض تجيب زول عشان نعينه في المحل بتاع وزاره الداخليه والنائب لوزير بتاعت الدفاع. لكن رياض رفض بحجه انه نحن الدور الفاضي انت ناديتني وكلمنا ونحن لسه ما وصلنا للنقاط، انت مشيت عينت وزير. فالرئيس قال يا اخي انا عندي حق انه نعين ونعمل استبدال. فرياض قال يا اخي انت لو داير محل بتاعي ده ذاته شيله، المحل بتاعي ده ذاته انت شيله. فالاجتماع انتهى على كده، ما كان في رضا يعني، بس اجتماع انتهى على كده. رياض رفض وزاره الدفاع كايو. بعد ذاك الايجاد نادى اجتماع في شهر 4 ده،
يوم 18 المفروض يكون يوم 18 هاي.
المفروض يوم 18. عشان كده ابو سجار الامن القومي كان عنده برنامج مهم جدا في نفس اليوم هو سافر فيه الخرطوم، فالغى البرنامج ده وهو سافر الساعه 4 مشى الخرطوم، مشى قابل زي ما قال مستر دندي، مشى ذكر عبد الفتاح البرهان وقال لي زياره في اطار علاقات بين السودان وجنوب السودان. يعني ده حاجه was emergency، يعني هو سافر فجاه. لكن الهدف من الكلام ده انه يغني رئيس الإيجاد هو السودان طبعا الان عنده رئاسه الإيجاد على اساس انه الاجتماع بتاع الإيجاد يتعامل في مدينه جوبا، لانه الإيجاد عمل ريكوست للرئيس ونائبه رياض مشار كم تو كينيا. الرئيس ما داير رياض يطلع، لانه رياض من 2018 هو محبوس في جوبا. How many years right now? Since 2018.
4 years or 5 years.
To make a medical checkup, even for medical checkup, he's not allowed to go outside. So the guy is looking in big prison.
Confinement.
هو في سجن كبير. So احتمال هو لو طلع برا الرئيس ما ضامن مثلا زول يرجع، ولو رياض ما رجع حاجات كتير يعني ما ممكن يمشي في جنوب السودان. وانت سمعتوا كلام قالوا الامين العام بتاع الحركه الشعبيه انه يعني اي نوير هو يتمرد ضد دنكا النوير كله بمشي وراه. ده كلام خطير جدا. بالرغم انه رياض يعني عنده اخفاقات، حاجات كثيره حصلت في 2013 و16 but he still عنده big numbers support him from upper Nile especially يعني قبيله النوير زي الرئيس عنده اغلبيه برضه من قبيله الدنقا بيعملوا سبورت، رياض مشار برضه عنده اغلبيه من قبيله النوير بيعملوا سبورت، وعنده برضه عدد كبير في ويسترن بارغزال في فالرئيس خايف منه انه رياض يطلع برا وما ما يرجع ثاني لجوبا، لكن اصلا ما ممكن الانتخابات تتعمل ونائب الرئيس هو مسجون وهو يكون منافس يعني ما بتجي. So ملخص الكلام ده كله Sudan is not going well. There's no any means of security now in South Sudan. So anytime ممكن يكون في عنف في السودان. يعني لما يكون زعلان all supporters بيكونوا زعلانين. The same thing لما كير بيكون زعلان all supporters بيكونوا زعلانين. فزي ما قبل ذكر دندت الناس ده last time هم كانوا في اجتماع في 2016 وشكله بدا برا بحراس. شغله برا بالحراس انه التنشن على مستوى الرئيس والنائب وعلى مستوى الحراس وعلى مستوى السبورترز everywhere. فانا بشوف ما في يعني جو مسالم الان انه الناس تتكلم عن انتخابات في جنوب السودان. الجو الان ما مسالم في اي زمن رياض لو فات وما جاء خلاص ما في انتخابات. عشان هو يمشي ويجي انت اديه حريته. we are not support. I'm not here supporting depending for رياض مشا، لكن احنا لازم نتكلم عن حقائق لانه عشان جنوب ده يمشي يعني الاحزاب السياسيه sometimes هم بيكونوا جاج. نحن معارضه، لكن ما بنشوف انه بقيه المعارضه في جنوب السودان يعاملوا بهذا المثل. لازم يكون في حريه لنائب الرئيس عشان يكون في انتخابات. فالرئيس شغال الانتخابات من جانب واحد في الاي، لكن هذا لا يعني انه ممكن يكون في انتخابات في جنوب السودان. فعشان كده يستعجلوا بس عمل استيميت بتاعت الارقام بتاعت التعداد السكاني بسرعه. لكن قد ما يكون مقبول في الانتخابات الجايه. النقطه الاخيره موضوع الامن. الامن في جنوب السودان يعني الولايات اللي كانت مضطربه شويه، يعني الان الاضطرابات نقصت شويه بالذات في المناطق بتاعت النيل. ما في اي في على النيل، ما في الان ما في نزاعات، سواء كان الحركات المسلحه الموجوده هناك او الميليشيات.
هدوء نسبي يعني.
في هدوء نسبي. في هدوء نسبي، وبرضه في بارغزال هنا برضه في هدوء كويس خالص. اكثر منطقه كان مضطربه هي ليج ستيت، ومناطق بتاعت توين كان في 2021 ولا ده 2021 الان في هدوء نسبي ايضا في مناطق بتاعت بارغزال. فالهدوء ده لو في توافق سياسي على مستوى الحكومه يعني ممكن انه يعود للانتخابات، لكن استيل مثلا في مناطق مقفوله. مثلا الان ما في شارع بين ابيي وتوي ميالي. مناطق دي ما في نموذج لمواطنين في المناطق. فدي حاجات يعني الناس تتكلم عن الكومبين انتخابات وتعداد سكاني. لازم يكون في المقابل يكون في شنو؟ في العمل للسكيورتي، لانه المواطن ما بصوت انتخابات في جو ما سكيور.
نعم.
او هو ما امن. فلازم ترسل الرساله بتاعت السلام للمواطن عشان هو ينافس ويكون راضي عن الانتخابات. عشان ما يكون دي انتخابات زمان شاهدناه في السودان في 2008 يعني نحن ما نعرف نسعى هذه الانتخابات في جنوب السودان. الأمن في جنوب السودان في حدود نسبي، لكن ده على مستوى الولايات، لكن على مستوى الشرائح بتاعت الحكومه ما في امن، يعني ما في سلامه، ما في استقرار سياسي اللي شايفينه الان في جوبا. في تنشن بين الرئيس ونائب رياض مشاع، التنشن الشديد، وده قد يقود الى هروبات، يعني زي ما شاهدناه او حاجه غير متوقعه، زي ما شاهدنا في 2013 2016 ممكن يقود لحاجه غير متوقعه. بالرغم انه تم جمع سلاح من الايو، ما عنده سلاح، لكن الدار ستيل انه ميليشيات شبه مواليه له في الخارج، لانه كلهم تايم ايو ما قاعدين يعملوا اي كومنت في الموضوع بتاع الوايد عامي. يعني ما قاعدين يعملوا اي كومنت في الموضوع بتاع الوايد عامي. الوايد عامي ناو انه سلاح، they are very active في مناطق بتاع على النيل. في اي زمن ممكن يعيدوا ولاءهم لرياض مشاع، عندي كان ممكن يعملوا انسكيورتي في المناطق اللي هم موجودين في على النيل، لانهم مسلحين اكثر من يعني من الجيش في المناطق اللي هم قاعدين فيه. الجيش ما قادر عليه. الجيش ما قادر عليه، والدليل على ذلك لما هم مشوا حاجه في المناطق بتاعت شنو في العام الماضي بعلم من الحكومه شايفينه، لكن يعني ما قدروا يشتبكوا معاهم عشان يبقوا نازل ما يسحبوا للمناطق بتاعت الشرق، خلوهم لحد ما وصلوا وعملوا حاجات دايرين ورجعوا.
نعم.
So security now بين الحكومه او بين شركاء الحكومه ما في سلام، ودائما المشاكل بتجيني من السياسيين ما من المواطنين. فانا بقول الوضع الان في تنشن، ما في سكيورتي في جوبا تحديدا، لكن في حدود نسبي في بقيه الولايات. فده النقطه الاخيره اللي نقول. عندك اي سؤال ثاني you can go forward.
يا ما عندي سؤال استاذ عبد الله، لكن انا دايرك في الفيسبوك عشان نقدر نجي في كلاب هاوس وبعد كده نستمر شويه. وانا هنا شنو هنقفل؟ انا شايف في raise hand. There's a couple people have raised their hand, but let me go ahead and close here. انا will close here be a little bit of song here, tradition song. While you guys are listening, it's going to be like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then I will come right away to Clubhouse. وبكون بكده احنا بكون انتهينا شنو من السكشن اللي احنا قدمناه في فيسبوك. ما في استقرار امني، الحكومه عمل فيك عشان يقدر يعمل فيك الكشن عشان رئيس الفكير يفوز. الحل زي ما احنا قلنا دائما is an uprising، لانه كل طرق جربه، طريقه بتاع عمليه سلميه جربوا، اتفاقيه ما بينفذ، الضغوط الاقليميه يغلب الاقليميه ما بينفذ، لان الرئيس ذاته في حد ذات الحكومه بيعمل برايف على ريجنال اكترز، بيعمل برايف لناس تايجاد والدول الموجوده حول جنوب السودان. المجتمع الدولي بالضغوطات الموجوده ما بتدي باي نتيجه، لان حكومه جنوب السودان حتى ولو عملوا سانكشن ستيل باينج ثينج عن طريق شنو السوق الاسود. اذا ما في تنفيذ اتفاقيه الوقيع، الاتفاقيه اللي جايه برضه ما ينفذ. اوكي، الحرب بياكل اليابس والاخضر، يبقى نحن متضررين. لو عملنا حرب احنا المتضررين. اذا الحل الوحيد هي الابرايزنج، الا الشعب هي اللي بتثور وتزيل الحكومه دي الحل الوحيد. انا ما مؤمن باي اتفاقيه يتم توقيعها، لان الحكومه دي اساسا ما عندها ايمان، ما عندها عزيمه، does not have any political will to implement any deal that have been signed. لانه دليل على كده تم توقيع اتفاقيات وما كانت هي والي ناويه انه تنفذ اي اتفاقيه. نكتفي بهذا القدر في فيسبوك وننتقل الى كلاب هاوس. I will conclude with this. I will add this song, tradition song from Gumjuer, and then we move on.
Yeah, you can mute yourself from Clubhouse, and then when you finish, you come back to Clubhouse. You can mute yourself.
So you guys don't want to listen to this Gumjuer thing?
Yeah, sometimes it's been long and people get bored.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
no problem. I'm gonna go ahead. If you guys wanted to continue, yeah, I will. Ana بالحكم إن
Yeah,
شاء الله.
we're gonna continue. Yeah, just mute yourself. We're gonna continue.
No problem.
مستمعينا